Hello everyone. In this video, we will be studying some basic facts about string in Java. So for that, there are a lot of things to be studied. So I say that why don't we head over to see today's agenda. There are a lot of things on this list. Let's worry about them one at a time. No need to go through this entire list at once. Let's start with declaration. In Java, you simply declare a string like string s, that's the variable name. As is the case with every declaration, say it's hello. That's basically what you do to declare a string in Java. And the way the string is initialized is done in this form that we have our program stack. In this program stack, this variable s is initialized, this variable s is input in, and what is stored here is, well, okay. So first of all, we must be familiar with the fact that a string is actually an array of characters. But in this case, what we're going to do is that we're going to make this array of characters here in our heap memory. Remember, this is the stack memory, this is the heap memory, it's different. What will happen is that this, say this hello is stored at an address of 4K, my stack will simply point towards this location in the memory. And that's basically how an initialization of the string is done from the user end and from the memory end. So that's pretty simple. That was all there was to it. I mean, of course, there are a lot of concepts that are deeper, but for an introduction, this is good to go. We are done with declaration, we're done with memory. Now let's talk about input. But before we go to input, let's try to show what we learned right away. Say I have string s is equal to hello, and now I have to print it. Let's see if this works or not. I have a string s. Let's try to run it, and the output is hello. And that's basically all there is to declaring a string. Coming to user input, for that we need a scanner. To input a string, we use the function next or next line depending on our purpose. So we use next line in this case. This will input our entire line of input, and what that will do is, well, it will take the input that the user gives us and it will print it. Say my input is world. If I run it, the output should be world. I missed a semicolon, that's my bad. The output is world. The input was world, the output is, well, world. That's basically it for user input and output. Now let's study about some functions that are commonly used in string. One of the most common of them being char at. But before char at, I think it's more important that we learn how to take out the length of a string. Take out the length of a string. If we already have our string here, and the length, this will be equal to s, that is our string dot length. Now one thing you need to take care of are these brackets. In string, this length is actually a function as compared to an array where it is a data member. So in array, you just write array dot length, but in string, it is a function, so you call it with its brackets. That's how you calculate the length of a string. If we print it, we'll find out that a length for the word world is 5. The word is world, which we printed before, and now we have 5 with us as our length. Next we have caret. So caret is basically a function that is used to retrieve a value from a string from a certain index. Like I said, a string is actually an array of characters. So this array of characters can be indexed and value can be retrieved from it. Say I have to print the third letter in the string world. I write s dot char at, I write 2 here because our indexes, as is the case with array, they start from 0. So if I want to print the third letter in this word world, I do this, and my output is R, WOR, third letter. That's how you print caret. That's how you use caret. Next on the agenda that we're done with caret and length is setchar. Now, a question that I get very frequently is that can we actually set a value in a string? Say I want to change this letter R to say Z. So in this form, say s dot char at 2 is equal to Z. I want to change this character completely. Let's see if this runs or not. It won't. Unexpected type. It won't because it's not possible for us to change a letter inside a string. We can only retrieve a value, we can't set a value inside a string. It is immutable. This immutability will be discussed in another video, not in this one since this is just the introduction. And that's basically how we use setchar. So we use a caret. We can't set a character in a string, so we cross that out. Next is a very important function called substring. For our substrings, basically, the concept is that we are able to retrieve a part of the string, not just one character, but a certain chunk of our string. Say we have a string called ABCD. For substring, for the function substring, we take 2 parameters. One is the starting index, which is an integer, and the ending index, which is an integer as well, s and e. For a substring, what happens is that the starting integer, the chunk of a string starts from a starting integer and it ends right before the ending index. Say if I enter my values as 0 and 1, this will give us the output A, because the starting index is A and the ending index is at B. So we go to ending index minus 1. This is how the substring function works. If we do 0, 2, we get the value AB. 0, 3, we get the value ABC. And at 0, 4, so 4 might seem like 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 seems to be out of index, out of bounds. But for substring, it works since we are only going till the place right before the ending index. So it gives us the output A, B, C, and D. Or in other words, it gives us the complete output of our string. And similarly, we can do this in different ways. Say we can even start our index at a later point, say 1, 3. So our index at 1 is B, we get B. And our index at 3 is D, so we go to 3 minus 1, 2, and print C here. And for 1, 4, the answer will be similar, that is B, C, and then we also print another index, that is D, value at another index, that is D. That's basically how the substring function works. And let me try to show you how exactly does it work. Say I have my string world with me, and I print, let me initialize the new string actually, s1 is equal to ABCD, which is my example, so it will be a little clearer. Say I print 0, 3. Now I do s dot substring 0, 3. This should give me the output A, B, C. And let's comment out the other outputs. We don't want them right now. We have a string with us, world. This was an invalid statement. Let's remove it from here for the time being. As you can see, we have, oh sorry, I have to test it for S1, not the string S. We have S1 as ABCD. And we have ABC as the correct output, just as we predicted. That's how you work on substrings. And let's try to now print all the substrings of a string. So we go from I is equal to 0, I is less than S1 dot length I plus plus. Then we go I for int j is equal to, say, I plus 1, j is less than S1 dot length. So this will be equal, as we want to go to the very end so that we can print a value right before it and get the last letter in our string, as I had just explained. And now what I'll do is that I'll print the substring found at every step. S1 dot substring start found at every step, which is I comma j. Let's see what we get as our output. We get A, AB, ABC, ABCD. Then we start from B all the way till the end. Then C, CD, and then finally D, which is our last substring to be found. And again, one important case that we have here is that if we try to print the substring, say we already have a substring, I want to print substring 0, 0, this should give me ideally a blank output. World should be ignored. Other than that, our output should be blank because we are starting at a point and then ending at the same point, and we're actually supposed to go one point before the ending index, so it will not retrieve anything for us. It is not exactly in an invalid range, and by chance we enter a value, say 4, 3, or say 3, 2 inside the substring function. Let's see what we get then. In this case, we'll get an error. Because this particular function is not allowed. We do 2, 3, we'll get our valid output again because it is in the correct range. Our ending index can't come before the starting index, right? And it's giving us the correct answer. That's how you use substrings, and that's how you print the substrings. So we have a substring and print the substring. Now let's talk about concatenation, or should I say adding two strings. When it comes to concatenation, we simply use the plus operator. Let's remove everything for the time being. We don't need it. Say we have a string, say S1 is equal to hello, and I have a string S2 is equal to world. We can simply print this in this manner. We can simply use the addition operator to print it, and we'll get our output as hello space world. Our addition operator simply concatenates two strings. Now we can also do this thing with a character, and we can simply add the new character or the string to our current string itself. Say we have hello, I comment out the word, I say s1 plus equal to say a character called z. Let me try to print it. This should give me hello z. I think I printed something else. Oh wait, my input was world. We don't need an input right now. For my output, I get hello z as the correct output. Similarly, we can also do this with an integer. This is very convenient for Java. Say I want to add 2 to the string. Java will convert this integer into a string and add it. Hello 2 is my output. Now, an interesting thing to note here would be the order in which we add this particular integer. Say I have my string s1, say hello, and I add 10 and I add 20. So if I had to get an output for this, what would it be? Would it be s1 1020? Sorry, will it be hello s1 1020, or will it be hello 30? The output should actually be hello 1020, because this s1 plus 10 is actually converting it to a string, and so a string plus an integer gives us a string as our returned value. But if we shift this value right here, now we'll do the integer operation first and then add the string to it, so we get 30 hello. This is something that we should keep in mind while performing operations on the string. And we've covered concatenation completely. We've done order of printing, and finally we have our split function. A split function is actually pretty important. So say I give you a task that you have two strings. Say I give you one string, say hello, say, or let's say it's ABC, DF, GHI, JKL. You say that this string is separated by spaces. Why don't you print this entire string without spaces? How will you do that? One way of doing that is the split function. So you can split the string with the space as a barricade, and the answer will be stored in an array. So we'll make a string array. This will be s1.split. And now what we'll do is that we'll loop over this array. I is less than array.length I plus plus, and I say that I want to print all of these space separated values in a different line. So I simply access my elements through via an array, just as I do usually. Let's see what we get as our output. And now we have s1.split. Right. So the error that I did was that I didn't actually put my barricade here. The barricade in this case would be a space. Let's try to run this now. And we get all of our elements separated by a space. But space is not the only barricade that we could have. Say I want to separate it using a comma. I put comma here. And I run this. I will still get the same output. So basically we can use split for any kind of separation in a string. And that's basically the major functions that we use in a string. There are more concepts in string known as immutability and interning, which will be discussed in a separate video. So stay tuned, and well, I suggest you do watch it. Until then, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, drop a comment, leave a like, and do subscribe to our channel. Thank you.